Hello everybody, this is Emiliano. I'm going to share with all of you what I have learned in the last couple of months, attending some workshops and doing some investigation about how to improve the context engineering of my projects. I will do a little demo in starting a project from scratch using a project that's already ongoing, so you can see the difference and you can check how to start a project, how it looks like when you are currently working one. I'm using Klein with Cloud Code, but something that you can do here is, anyway, I'm adding an Ocean file with all the relevant links and GitHub repos. But what you can see here, this library is very useful. It's a kind of official library on how to manage knowledge inside the project. And here you can see I'm just starting checking that everything is empty, because what I'm doing here for the demo is to put the memory file inside a custom folder instead of using the generic one to unclutter with all the project's data. That have some pros and cons, but I like to keep the memory focused in my projects because sometimes they are like super unrelated. If they are related, probably makes sense to have just one folder, but if there's too much unrelated, probably makes no sense. Say that I'm using Cloud Code as my model here using Sonnet, and for example, I'm just starting checking that the is effectively not pointing to an existing existing file, So I'm just creating here, adding like the basic information of the project here. So you can see here when I try to add that, it will help me to add this. Yeah, I know that's what is creating the directory structure. Because I can create by hand, but why not leave our friends to make this happen? And now we try again, and there we go. It's happening. Also, it's pretty cool because you can be committing this file. So for all the developers in your team, everybody will have access to the same knowledge base for the project. So that's kind of cool. So that's very cool, is these rules always apply. So this is really great because this will be the principle. So for example, I can check if this is working. What are your principles for communication? So, and we will see that they all will pick up this. Now this is cursor. So they will pick up this. My communication principles are presentence only, I explain, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you can change this all you want, right? So for example, this one. Explain the next steps, explain before and after, etc. And here, this is where the interesting part comes also, because, for example, I like to use different tools for different purpose, right? So I like to use Cloud Coding, Klein, Cursor, and Gemini CLI too. So it's good to have a way to share rules between all of them. So one very cool tool to achieve that is the dotagent library by John Lindquist too. So we should import, so it will create a new folder named dotagent. That is basically a copy of this, and always when we want to add new rules or new like customizations here, we add them here in the cursor folder. Then we can run import and we go to the agent folder. And here's where the magic happens. Now what I can do is to say .agent export. So we'll look up and here I can see, for example, which tool I want to export this for. For example, I want to export it as this, and I will this is the git ignore, because you can just run that. So here you will see that now the Cloud MD file has a lot of rules now. So now I can say to Cloud, what is your communication style? And it should pick up from here everything's as soon as friends, you see, so they are now sharing the same communication approach. And we can keep doing that for other tools, like for example, Gemini CLI. So will be this. And I find Gemini very valuable, the CLI, to understand documentation or even say, for example, I don't know, let's say that we need to add a new rule for some new text that we use that is not covered here, for example, for Superbase. So I can say research the best ways to integrate Superbase with Next.js. Let's create a document for the best practices to use in this project in the following folder. This will be a globe. So let's do this. So now, for example, to demonstrate that I'm just running Gemini in the CLI, and you see that this says using Gemini. So I can say, okay, what is your communication style? And you will see that now we share a set of roles between every tool that we have here. So now, so far, we set up a knowledge base that we can use in the project, and way to set up rules and share them between tools. So every tool has the same way to. So now we are getting some standardization here in the project. So let's go and see some next steps here. Okay, now we just added some files on knowledge about the project. So I want to repeat these patterns and get new roles based on the functional requirements of the project. So for that, I like to use Gemini because I think Gemini is amazing on understanding context and planning. So basically, I like to use Gemini for that. Claude Sonnet with client for code and refactors. So yeah, when this execute, it will generate more rules that we can just import to the agent folder, and then, for example, there we go, it's finished. Let's see what it did. Okay, this is to go. It has a lot of things, so you can see this one is not empty. So let's see, where is this adding? There you go, the best practices. So you see here a lot of things about the database. So now for share this with between the others, I would say npx dotagent latest import. I will import the rules. You see here everything is taken. Here you see. So now when I export, I'll export to the tools I'm using. Export Gemini. Yes, that way you can be updating the context that you use. So this is a little bit of my approach now. I think it's getting very long. So I will, in another video, demonstrate a little bit how I work with this. So now this is like an introduction video on how to set up your project, how to get rules for your project like out of the box. Then you can customize them a little bit, use different models. That way you are set up to start working on your projects with a lot of context and with the. But in the next video, I will demonstrate a little bit further how it works and how everything gets together in action.